Dodge's last call sales event.
We're celebrating 75 years in business by offering 75 new Dodge Chargers and Challengers at enormous discounted prices to say thank you. Right now, get your hands on the last of the gas-powered 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger GTs and SXTs and save up to $13,000 off MSRP. But you better hurry in because you only have until April 13th.
How about the Scat Packs? Any deals on those?
Yep, we've got some of the biggest savings I've ever seen. But like I said, you better hurry in because these are the very last of the gas-powered Chargers and Challengers. And you only have until April 13th to cash in on this anniversary savings.
You better get moving to Hoblet Dodge in Woodland or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
13,000 total net savings on Dodge Charger Challenger SXT after 8420 factory rebates and 4,600 dealer discounts. May include 500 first responder cash. Must be a current member of eligible First Responder Association. 10th net savings. See dealer for details.
Hey there. Wanted to take a moment of your time so I could talk to you about insecurity. I could talk to you about confidence. I could talk to you about girth. Yeah, what? Girth? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you about the Upsize Clinic at UpsizeMatters.com. My good friend, Dr. Jack, and his friend, Dr. Pash in San Francisco, have a safe, effective, long-lasting doctor-performed procedure. It's non-surgical, virtually pain-free. Now listen, girth is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. What Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash are offering is a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation and get that confidence back. Reset in the bedroom with your partner. Financing is available. It's very private. It's very discreet. Available in Roseville with Dr. Jack and San Francisco with Dr. Pash at UpsizeMatters.com. That's UpsizeMatters.com.
No team has owned the Kings more than the New Orleans Pelicans. Thursday at 7. The Kings look for their first win of the season against New Orleans.
It's grabbed by Davion. Bullet pass to the corner. Keegan for three. Score the triple. What a super assist from Davion Mitchell. Keegan Murray now has 14.
It's Game 80. The Kings and Pelicans. Thursday at 7 on Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com. Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
No team has owned the Kings more than the New Orleans Pelicans. Thursday at 7. The Kings look for their first win of the season against New Orleans.
It's grabbed by Davion. Bullet pass to the corner. Keegan for three. Score the triple. What a super assist from Davion Mitchell. Keegan Murray now has 14.
It's Game 80. The Kings and Pelicans. Thursday at 7 on Sacktown Sports. It's time for game night. Getting you ready for Sacramento Kings basketball.
He's got the bucket.
Game night is presented by Power Business Technology, your locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome inside Golden One Center. It's game night coming your way right here. Sacktown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner. It's hot outside. It's even hotter inside here on a Thursday night. The final 3 games of the regular season, they are here. I guess technically a playing game would be a regular season game as well. We don't need to argue about that. But nevertheless, it feels like a playoff game tonight. The Pelicans are in town. The Kings trying to do something they have not done all season long. Defeat New Orleans. They need to, if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive, at least qualifying for it right off the bat, not having to go through a play-in. Simply put, they lose tonight and virtually their chances of getting into the playoffs are very unlikely. There are still mathematical chances. We'll try to go through that. There's so many combinations here to keep up with. But the basic one is the Pelicans are 2 games up with the Kings right now. They have the tiebreaker, so effectively 3 games up. New Orleans beats Sacramento tonight. It really does not seem likely whatsoever that these 2 teams will be thinking about meeting up at a potential play-in. All right, having said all that, High Flyer, running a little bit late today, Mike Brown went a lot longer in his pregame press conference. It was very interesting, a lot of comments. Obviously, it was a tough loss for the Kings Tuesday in Oklahoma City. Another 20-point-plus lead evaporated. They were up 21 in New York on that trip, couldn't hold it. They were up 20 at halftime against OKC. They lose that game 112-105. Lots of questions about the franchise record 58 threes, how Coach felt about that, a lot of other things. We're going to get into all of that, but just ask you generally, Henry, how are you feeling about the last final 3 home games of the year? How are you feeling about this team right now?
You know what, Scott? I can say this. I've never been scared of anything in my NBA career. I've guarded Michael Jordan. I've guarded James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins, and Clyde Drexler. I guarded some of the best of them. Was never, ever scared. But I'll tell you what. I'm scared of the situation that the Kings are in.
Okay.
The situation that we're in right now, Scott, is that we are depending on Davion Mitchell. We're depending on Keon Ellis. We're depending on Kobe Jones or Chris Duarte, whichever one you want to plug in.
Yep.
We are depending on these guys now to hold us in our playoff stretch. Even when De'Aaron and Sabonis is playing a good game, we still don't have enough for just to win off of those 2 guys. We have to depend on guys who hasn't even been in the rotation for that long. And, and we're asking these guys to do things that seasoned veterans aren't doing. I'm glad they're getting a chance to be put in these situations, but a lot of times, the first time you get put into a situation like that, you don't succeed in that situation.
Sure.
And this is where we are with these young guys that we have playing that we really have to depend on. Because we got some guys that we really can't depend on that hasn't showed up.
Haven't shown up or in street clothes right now. Lots of things going on. And to your point, when you see Kobe Jones, Keon Ellis, and Davion on the floor at the same time, if we're keeping it real, that does not feel like a playoff lineup, certainly not this season. So.
Exactly. I mean, I was hoping to see around this time, even if we have the exact same record, Scott.
Yep.
And I'm fine with the record. If we had the exact same record, but this team was healthy and this team was playing a better brand of basketball, their trajectory was going up, I would be fine. But seeing where we are, and let's keep it 100, here's exactly where we are. We're a basketball team that's injury riddled. We're not full staff, and we're not playing our best brand of basketball. Our all-stars aren't playing their best brand of basketball. We're really playing on the decline.
Obviously, Sabonis had a 61-game consecutive double-double streak broken at OKC. We'll get into that, but I want to get into some of the things that Coach Brown had to say, because certainly there was a lot of talk after that game on Tuesday night about the franchise record 58 threes. The Kings were settling for threes. Mike Brown in the press conference said he went back, watched the tape. He was happy with the way the team operated offensively. He was happy with the shots. He says he's still coaching his team to continue to play like that. A lot of people discussing that game saying the Kings didn't get to the line enough. They relied on the three, and that was their ultimate undoing in that game. Your thoughts?
Well, you won't get to the line a lot, especially not in today's NBA, since they've been, letting the guys play a little bit more, letting teams be handsy and push and physical a little bit more. You're not going to get to the line too often coming down, pulling up 53s behind the arc. You're going to get what you're going to get. Either you knock them down and you're playing a real good basketball game and you're up 20, or you come down, you decide to take them and you're not knocking them down and you lose a 20-point lead and you lose at the end.
No doubt. How do you feel about the number of threes that have been shot of late? Obviously, no Malik Monk. You're not getting the pick and rolls. You're not getting the Sabonis inside as much. Points in the paint have gone down. Overall philosophy, and how things are going in that respect.
Well, Scott, look what you have out there on the floor. The Sacramento Kings only have two guys that can break somebody down and get to the basket and score. That's Malik and De'Aaron Fox. And Malik Monk is in street clothes, so now you only have Fox who can get downhill, and all eyes are on him. He can't get downhill because he has one guy guarding him, another guy in the paint looking at him. So it's going to be tough for him to get downhill. So you're not going to have, too much going to the basket. And when you're stopping electing to shoot, or when you do touch the paint, you're spraying out for threes. I don't know too many teams that's going out and fouling on 3-point shots.
Yep. All right. Well, certainly some frustration after the 1-3 road trip, but the Kings are still right there. They're in the play. We know we're going to have more than 82 games this year. We just don't know how many. We don't know where they'll be. All those things still to be determined. There's actually a scenario where all 5 teams still in that 6 through 10. The top 5 are decided. Mm-hmm. Dallas and the Clippers are in. New Orleans, Phoenix, Sacramento, Golden State, and LA could still mathematically tie, and then I don't know how those tiebreakers work out 6 through 10.
It's so many different scenarios.
Stay tuned for all of that, but we do know you can only take care of the business that's in front of you, and right now that business is the New Orleans Pelicans, who come in for the 5th time. Kings playing them one more time because of the in-season tournament where they matched up with them in an extra game. Obviously, the first 4 games have been a disaster for Sacramento. They're 0-4 against New Orleans. Last time they lost 133-100. The Pels didn't even have Zion in that game. It feels like one of the worst matchups for Sacramento in all of the NBA. The Kings have to find a way to turn it around tonight. What do you think about that?
Now, Scooter, with all that's being said, yes, the Sacramento Kings have really struggled with New Orleans. And they have really had our number. But, this is a different type of scenario. Yeah, we got guys injured, but they have injuries also. We're not playing our best brand of basketball, but they're not playing their best brand either. So, both of these teams are kind of like mirroring each other. And I honestly think it's going to come down to, once again, who wants this game the most. I felt the exact same way, Scott. We played this basketball team when we were able to go to Vegas. Yeah. I was like, both of these teams are pretty much evenly matched up. It's all about who wants it most. And the Kings, you're still really playing for your playoff life.
Yep, these are playoff games. Let's be honest.
You're playing for your playoff life. If you want to do something, or really say, okay, we struggle, but we still manage to accomplish a lot of things that we want going on, they got to come out and play. Now, regardless of who's in uniform, understand losing Malik Monk is huge. Losing Herter is huge for us. We always was pointing the finger at Herter, talking about, he only give you 10 points. He only give you 12 points. Well, when he's not out there on the floor, you miss those points desperately, don't you?
You miss them desperately. That is for sure. But the Pelicans have been playing a while now without Brandon Ingram. Mm-hmm. He could come back as early as tomorrow night. He is not going to play tonight. We're going to talk to the outstanding voice of the Pelicans, Todd Graffinini. That's coming up in the next 45 minutes as we get you ready for Kings Live pregame. Kings and Pelicans national TV game tonight. The TNT crew is here. They've got the number one crew in my mind. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller are in the house tonight, so that makes it a little extra exciting. Let's go back. Sabonis, incredible season. The 61-game double-double streak broken at OKC. It's been just a magical, historic year for Sabonis. But having said all of that, in the last 10 games or so, Sabonis's numbers are down. I don't think it's any coincidence that Sabonis's numbers being down started about the same time that Malik Monk got hurt.
That's part of it, Scott. Malik Monk is one of our best facilitators. Malik Monk is one of the best at getting downhill, one of the best at running the pick and roll. We're missing a lot offensively when Malik is not on the floor, not just from his scoring standpoint or 3-point shots, but overall gets touches on the inside, getting sprays. We miss a lot. But another thing with Sabonis is that, these teams aren't stupid. We have a two-headed snake, and it starts with De'Aaron, and it hands off to Sabonis. So a lot of teams are definitely trying to gear up and stop him, because if you can stop one part of the snake, well, even if the other head is deadly, you don't have two of them. You only got one.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously The Pelicans in particular have always been a tough matchup for Sabonis because not only do you have Zion, one of the forces of the NBA that's so tough to stop when he's healthy, but you've got that man in the middle, Jonas Valanciunas, which is just a physical, tough matchup for anybody in this league.
I honestly think he plays Sabonis probably as equally as anybody else does. They know each other very well. They're friends. Valanciunas has nice size. Sabonis really can't play bully ball with him. He's a very smart player. He has a high basketball IQ. I like the way the young man plays.
Yeah, he's tough. And obviously the Pelicans are another team. They're long. They're athletic. They get after you defensively.
That's another thing. They get after you defensively, and then they got guys coming off the bench that's really crafty. Jose Alvarado, man, is one of the craftiest dudes we see play in this league in a long time. He reminds me a lot of Muggsy Bogues in a situation to where if you don't see him, you better pick up that basketball, because if you don't, he's going to have it and he's going to be gone.
I love it. More high flyer dunks being shown on the video board here. I always have to turn and look. There's a nice little reverse flip. I love it, man. They've got your highlights rolling tonight. That's good. It's a big game when they bring out the high flyer highlights.
You know what? I mean, I love every last minute of that, Scott.
Of course, I'd love it. If I could do that, I'd love it too.
Hey, every time I see him, man, it puts a smile on my face. And it just lets me know that somewhere along in life, things were right.
Definitely right. All right, let's get back to this. The Kings, they've been better defensively. I mean, if you look at the ratings, they're 14th in the league in defensive rating. And if you'd said that before the season started, you go, okay, the Kings are going to be a much better team. Obviously, they're near where they were last year in terms of wins and losses. They've gotten much better defensively in the last month or so. I wonder also the fact with Malik out, obviously they're playing Keon Davian more, that by nature makes you a better defensive team, not as good offensively. Are the Kings really a better defensive team, or is the fact that they're not as good offensively, and that is kind of making the ratings a little hard to interpret?
No, I think there's a better defensive squad, because at first, Scott, we was just only putting all our baskets in Keegan's buggy, saying, Keegan, you have to guard the number one scorer on the floor. Mm-hmm. And, that worked for a little while, but still, that was a tough type of assignment for him. And now, you're in a situation to where Keegan might not be the first. He might not be the second. He might be guarding the third option now, because if you have Davion and Keon on the floor, both of those guys are probably going to guard the number one and number two scorers if they're guards, depending upon who we're playing. And Keegan, you like I said, you're on the third option. So, yeah, I think that definitely raises their numbers when you talk about being able to guard teams and be able to play on the defensive end.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you. I think the Kings are better defensively, but I think my bigger point, the Kings are better defensively, but it hasn't necessarily made them a better team.
No, because what happens is you have to think about this too, Scott. You're playing both sides of the floor when you're playing basketball.
Yep.
Yes, defensively, you got better. But what happened on the offensive side?
Not as good.
Yes, your offense dropped off drastically. And when you are a basketball team that strive on scoring, getting up and down, knocking down three-pointers, those aren't the guys that you would have on the floor if that's what you wanted to do only. So, yeah, you got better defensively, but offensively, you fell off.
Yep, we see Sabonis out. He's working on his three-point shot. He does that before every game with Doug Christie. It's part of his normal workout. But for Sabonis tonight to try and have some success against a team that he hasn't had a lot of so far this year, what difference, what things do the Kings need to do differently tonight?
Not the Kings, Sabonis. Don't wait. Don't wait. You know what, Sabonis? Let somebody else facilitate. I know that we have lived and died with you with the ball in your hands and you're trying to assist. You are a great passer. You one of the league's leaders in assists. You really helped this offense out by helping other guys get their shots off. But at this particular point, big fella, we need you to get yours. Let some of our other guards help other guys eat. You have to feast first. If you go famine, we go famine. So he's going to have to take that ball, Scott, and really be aggressive, and don't wait on the double team. Don't catch the ball and survey. Catch the ball and go.
All right, our look back at Tuesday night's game, by the way, brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. We talked about points in the paint. Mike Brown was asked about that as well. It's been anemic of late. It certainly was woeful at Oklahoma City, just 26 points in the paint for the Kings on Tuesday night. As always, our look back at the points in the paint brought to you by RT Painting, your reliable and trusted painter in the Sacramento marketplace since 1998. We said again, Mike Brown, he said in the pregame press conference, he was happy with the offense and the way they played the game, and he's going to encourage his team to play that same way. And that's his style. He wants to play fast. He wants to take the first open look. That's how he's trying to build this team. Can you get away with scoring just 26 points in the paint?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're knocking it down at a very high rate from that three-point line. You know, Mike Brown spent the last 6 years with a basketball team that had that exact same mantra.
Yeah.
We're going to run, we're going to gun, we're going to take the very first three-pointer we get.
He had the best backcourt three-point shooting duo in NBA history, though, too.
Yes, and then you sprinkle in a little Mitchell Wiggins, not Mitchell, but a little Wiggins.
A little Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, a little Drew Wiggins. Mitchell was his daddy.
Yes.
A little Andrew Wiggins, and he was shooting the ball very well.
Yeah.
You know, last couple of years, they had Belly. Belly was another stretch four that shot the ball very well. So when you have enough firepower that can knock shots down like that, yeah, that's the type of game you can play. Run down and stop behind that three and let it go.
Can you play it here?
Yeah, you can play it here. I don't know how successful you're going to be. You know, you're going to win some games, you're going to lose some games, but when it comes down to crunch time and you have to figure out a way to win, and those shots aren't falling, what are you going to do?
And that's the thing. What's the next thing? And he talked a lot about snap drives off the kick and feed, and that's something he'd like to see more from the Kings. He specifically talked about Davion Mitchell doing that a couple of times in the game against Oklahoma City.
You know what? Davion can do it, but Scooter, let's look at our roster. Mm-hmm. Who would you trust to put that ball down, to drive it into the lane and say, okay, make something happen?
I've got one number, and it's single digits. It's between 4 and 6.
You know, okay.
Number 5 with De'Aaron Fox.
Fox
right?
is your guy.
Yeah.
You know, Fox got green light to do whatever on the floor. He's just that talented. But Davion Mitchell can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. Keegan Murray, 50-50.
It's not really his game.
It's not really his game, but he can do it. And the last guy that you would say, yeah, I want doing that would be Harrison Barnes.
And in the case of Harrison Barnes, we know it's been a little hit and miss with him this season.
It depends upon what he wants to do. Is he over here in the rocking chair or is he in the scrum?
Tuesday night, he was 1 of 8, 0-4 from downtown. All right, that's a look back. We're going to look forward when we come back. As we mentioned, Todd Graffinini will join us. He's the voice of the Pelicans. We'll get the New Orleans story and how they're looking at things as the season's coming to a close here. It's game 80 of 82. The Kings will finish up at home. They've got Phoenix tomorrow night, another huge game. And then the Portland Trailblazers come in to close out the regular season on Sunday afternoon. This is Game Night. It's brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience for yourself how the Power of Family can help you with all your business copier needs. Give them a call today, 1-844-POWER-BZ, or go to powercopiers.com. More of Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports, 1140.
No team has owned the Kings more than the New Orleans Pelicans. Thursday at 7. The Kings look for their first win of the season against New Orleans.
It's grabbed by Davion. Bullet pass to the corner. Keegan for 3. Score the triple. What a super assist from Davion Mitchell. Keegan Murray now has 14.
It's game 80. The Kings and Pelicans. Thursday at 7 on Sacktown Sports.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, a.k.a. the High Flyer. I've done a lot of amazing things on the basketball floor, but now it's your turn to be amazing. For more than 55 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento has helped out the youth beat many odds. Too many littles, especially boys, are still waiting for volunteers, Big Brothers. Volunteers to spend at least 4 to 6 hours a month with local youth who needs guidance and support. So donate your time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area. Get involved. It's easy as a layup. Call 916-646-9300.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort. See what we can do for you with a free fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one near you. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Everybody needs Good Feet.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back into game night right here. Sacktown Sports 1140 coming to you live from the Golden One Center. It's the final homestand of the year, 3 straight for the Kings. It's going to determine whether they're in the playoffs. We know they're in the play-in, but we'll find out where they will land. Will they be a 7 or 8 team with 2 chances to get into the playoffs, or just potentially a one and done? So much up for grabs with so many teams. Game night brought to you by National Garage Door. Call today for your basketball special, 916-638-4554. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner, joined by one of my favorite voices in the NBA, the great voice of the New Orleans Pelicans, Todd Graffinini. Todd, it's great to have you on. It's funny, we saw each other before in the media room, and we're both nervous about this game. We're almost just talking ourselves out how our teams are going to lose tonight, right? You're countering about how, the Pelicans will find a way to do this, and I'm saying, well, the Kings are coming off an East Coast road trip, blah, 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 blah.
Well, Scott, and first of all, thanks for having me on, fellas. It's good to be in this position regardless.
Yep.
This is meaningful basketball, and, this is my 5th year with the Pelicans, and the first 2 were a little crazy, the first one being COVID year, and then the second year we didn't travel, and then 2 years ago making the play-in basically on the last day just to get in as the 9 seed. And we're very fortunate to win 2 play-in games and got into the playoffs. And then last year was a little more disappointing because of the way we started the season.
Yeah.
And then Zion gets hurt on January 2nd, got into the play-in, but then an upstart Oklahoma City team beat us at home. And just like that, the season was over. So the goal all year long has been to get into the top 6 and avoid the play-in altogether. But the best laid plans, as you say. Right now, with 3 games left, the Pelicans control their own destiny.
Yep.
But it's a funny thing. 2.5 weeks ago, we're about to start a 6-game homestand looking, all right, let's get into the 4 spot.
Right.
Let's host a first round playoff series. And then all of a sudden, Brandon Ingram gets hurt, and things didn't go so well in that homestand. Now, got that big win on Sunday in Phoenix.
Yep.
Kind of
Huge.
righted the ship a little bit. But, and I just asked Willie Green before the game, Pels head coach, said, look, knowing everything that you've been through, it's been a really roller coaster season again. And this Western Conference has just been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Would you have signed the contract? 3 games to go. You control your own destiny for a top 6. He said, absolutely, I would have. So here we are. And it's going to be another great game against these, with these two teams. I know the season record is not what you guys want.
Great has been relative this year between the Kings and Pelicans.
Look, again, how long can a streak continue? And we were joking in the room, Scott. Look, the Pelicans have won 4 games in a row 5 times this year and have never won a 5th game in a row.
Yeah.
So who knows?
You know what? I will say this about you guys' basketball team. The way I see it, the Sacramento Kings, they don't be bothered. We wasn't really bothered when Zion didn't play. We wasn't really bothered when C.J. McCollum didn't play. B.I. is a whole different monster. I mean, he's such a unicorn out there on the floor for us because he's 6'10", almost 7 foot. He's long, he's lean, he can stretch, he can handle. I mean, he's everything that Kevin Durant is for you guys, and we have nothing for him.
What people don't understand also is that he leads the Pelicans in assists, and he is a distributor as well as a scorer. And when he went out right before that homestand, he got hurt in Orlando, and the team basically almost shut down in the third quarter when that happened because, guys, when he went down, it did not look good.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, and the irony is that night in Orlando, Brandon Ingram played more games in an NBA season than he had in his career. And he got hurt that night. And the team basically was like, whoa, what do we do now? Which made the next night in Miami more impressive because we were able to get a nice win there. Yeah. But reality set in when we were at home, and it's just very, very difficult for the Pelicans to beat really, really good teams. And I don't know who made up the schedule before the season started, but we played Oklahoma City, Boston, Milwaukee in that homestand. I mean, right out of the gate. And it's just really, really difficult to win those games when you don't have your best players. And Ingram is definitely one or two on this team. And I know we're going to talk about Zion a little bit.
Yes,
but we have been really missing Brandon. But he's really progressing. And hopefully very, very soon, and I'm talking like much sooner than later, we're going to see him because I'm telling you, when he went down in Orlando, we did not think he was going to play at all the rest of the year. It was that bad.
Yeah, well, thank God
looked
for
that bad.
Yeah,
it looked that bad.
Thank God with that bruised left knee. He's going to miss tonight his 11th game. There's some reports saying he could play as early as tomorrow night. So we'll see about that against the Warriors. Obviously, you finish Warriors-Lakers after us tonight. Half game up with Phoenix right now in that loss column. Looking at the records here, you're 2 full games up of Sacramento with the tiebreaker. So you can close out Sacramento tonight for almost all intents and purposes, minus maybe some crazy, 3-4-way tie scenarios.
Well, it's been so interesting the last week, and I can't stress to you that game in Phoenix last Sunday, how important that was because, that homestand of doom that I was talking about.
Yeah.
By the way, the Magic were after that. We don't match up well with the Magic, whatever reason. And then San Antonio comes in. You're thinking, well, we got to get a win here. We got to get a win here. And they were able to pull it out, talking about the Spurs.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, again, at the beginning of this homestand, you're thinking 4th or 5th. And now we don't even control our own destiny anymore. We're on the outside looking in. So that win in Phoenix kind of rejuvenated everybody. It was when we got on the plane to go from Phoenix to Portland, it was almost relief.
Yeah.
Other than just happiness that we won the game. But look, I'm always going to be fearful of the Kings. I don't care what the record. And by the way, Ingram's on the court right now.
Yeah.
Getting some shots up, which is a good sign because he hadn't really done a whole lot of that recently. But it's just Fox and Sabonis and Murray and look, you talked about missing Ingram. I have been just it's been remarkable to me the fact that you guys have not completely gone off the rails without Herder, and especially Malik Monk,
Right.
who every time we play the Kings, Monk just lights us up. So the fact that you guys have been able to hold it together without two guys tells me a lot, but I'm not surprised because you're so well coached and you have such a good roster. And I guess it's kind of fitting that these two teams are going at it again for the fifth time here in what is the most important game of the season for both.
Yep. I mean, it's just so crazy because the last time you were here, we were definitely talking about this exact same scenario that these two teams might be playing each other all the way. I mean, me and Scott talked about it, like, I bet you it's going to come down to those two teams at the end of the year because we play them 2 games before the last. And here we are right now with both of these teams
we are
almost mirroring each other. Both teams not playing their best basketball. Both teams got, big time players that are out. They're undermanned, but we still got to go out there and play the game.
They're going to toss the ball up in the center circle. So, yeah, it would be a really good win for the Pelicans to get. I know you guys are desperate, and it's tough playing a desperate team, especially at home. So, we're going to see what happens. But I like the way that our team has responded after that tough stretch. This has been a resilient team all year long. They've kept the losing streaks really to a minimum. Early in the year when we were really struggling and Zion wasn't playing nearly the level he is right now, the team had a meeting in November and kind of flipped the script. And then, of course, the bad showing the play-in. And I think you're going to see now, tonight, a Zion Williamson that you did not see in January. And that's basically his best as a pro. He is as good as he has been as a professional in the last, I'd say, 3 weeks.
Let me ask you this. Knowing our basketball team to where, we've been able to come out and get 20-point leads easily.
No doubt.
But we've also been easily adept at dropping those 20-point leads. What does a team like the Pelicans think of our team when you say, okay, the Kings will come out and they will be on fire, but they will let you back in the game?
And it's funny because the games in this building this year have been exactly that. And I tell John DeShazer, my partner on the radio, this is his first trip here. And I said, look, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen right now. I tell you before it happens. They're going to knock down every 3 that they take in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're going to jump out. This place is going to go nuts. And the key is weathering the storm.
Yeah.
That is the key because they will let you back in it. And that's been the script. But if you don't guard against the opening 5 minutes, the Kings will run you out of the building, and that is always the fear. So, but again, like I've said, the Pels are resilient. It's just an even-keeled group, and that matches the head coach. Never too high, never too low. Even when we were going through that horrible homestand, and I mean, people were swan diving off the bandwagon back in New Orleans.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, here we go again.
Yeah.
Our second best player gets hurt down the stretch in this homestand. We can't even beat San Antonio. Boo. It was like that.
Yeah.
Like, we got 47 wins, people.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a good basketball team all year long. These things happen in an 82-game season. Just stay the course and see what happens.
You're preaching to the choir here in Sacramento, too, because obviously this was a team that won 48 games last year, could not be on many more highs than that of in making the playoffs, obviously, for the first time in 16 years. Expectations much lower. This year, flipped the script, 45-34, could get the 48 wins again. It feels so much different in Sacramento than this year.
Look, Scott, this is as fun as I've ever had. Again, this is my 5th year. The run in the playoffs 2 years ago was so much fun, but it was really quick. I mean, we got into the 9 seed in the last game of the season. We've been on the outside looking in. We finished that year 36-46 and got into the playoffs. It wasn't that much fun of a season.
Yeah.
I have had a blast calling these games this year.
Yeah.
This has been a fun team to watch all year long. Have there been some crushing losses? Absolutely.
Everybody has them.
But it happens. I mean, you think, boy, if you don't, I can think of 5 games right now off the top of my head. If the Pelicans would have won, we would not be having this conversation right now. We'd be in the 4th or 5th seed.
Yeah.
But you can't get those games back. You never can. And you just got to play them out. It's just really hard to believe. We're game number 79 right now.
You guys got 5. We got 10.
Well, I mean, we do. We've got 15 clutch losses. I really, but I mean, I'm just thinking of 5 that.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's interesting. Your clutch numbers.
They're
13 and 15 overall.
Good.
Yeah.
We haven't played many clutch games. We have played the least amount of clutch games in the NBA. So, we play blowouts. Yeah. Either we're in a blowout winning, or we're in a or 10 or 12 losing. It's just that's why if we get into really close games, that's when it gets a little dicey for us because we don't have a true ball handler on our team.
Yeah. Well, certainly there haven't been any close games against Sacramento this year. We know that. We'll wrap things up. You mentioned Zion playing so extremely well. He had that finger thing go on about anything with that at all. Completely fine.
I mean, other than he missed the San Antonio game, which we would not have lost if he was playing.
Yeah.
But again, I understand it because it was heavily taped. And this is his middle finger on his left hand, and he is left-handed.
Yeah.
So he had to figure out how he was going to catch, how he was going to shoot. So he had to take that game off. Unfortunately, it cost us a little bit. But then he came back that Sunday in Phoenix and played the best game he has played as a professional. Look, and I've gone back and forth with Antonio Daniels, who does such a great job on our television. And the reason why is he had the points, but he scored more points in the game. He had 29 in that game. We've seen him score 40. He had 10 rebounds, so he got a double-double. He had 7 assists. Wow. He had a career-high 5 blocks. He was all over. Wow. He was playing Duke Zion defensively. He was blocking everything in sight. And then, to top it off, he played 40 minutes.
Wow.
So he is in shape, in condition enough to play all those minutes. And when, again, you saw him last in early January, I promise you guys, when you see him on the court tonight, that's not the same guy than we saw a couple months ago.
Todd, as always, great stuff. It's good to have you here 3 times.
3 times, baby.
And you mentioned back in 2020, and not to throw back the old memories, but I think we bonded early on because in your first season, that was the COVID year. We had you on the air the night that the league shut down.
5 minutes before everything stopped. Yes, I'll never forget it.
Before the world stopped.
Correct. Little did we know.
Right.
All right, Todd, have a great call tonight, my
Thanks,
friend.
Gentlemen.
All right, that's Todd Graffinini, the outstanding voice for the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll come back. We'll get you ready for this one tonight, what the Kings need to do to get the W. We'll get you caught up on all the other games going on in the league as well. Game night brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. More of Game Night coming to you live from the Golden One Center. Sacktown Sports 1140.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Welcome to a brighter future with Aztec Solar, serving Sacramento since 1980. Everyone knows that solar saves money. How much? The answer is a few clicks away. Visit yourpowersavings.com. It's fast, easy, and reliable, giving you instant insight into your potential savings.
I used to pay $400 a month to the power company, and that $400 a month added up to $48,000 over the past 10 years. That all changed when I switched to solar with Aztec Solar.
Now it's your turn to stop overpaying for electricity. Calculate your solar savings right now at yourpowersavings.com. And Aztec Solar will email or text you how much you'll save every month. Plus, we've got an exclusive offer for you. Get your solar electrical system for just $9,995 cash price after incentives. Don't wait. This deal won't last forever. Visit yourpowersavings.com today and take the first step towards energy independence with Aztec Solar.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keyes was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Game Night brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you want to become a volunteer mentor to a kid who could use a mentor outside their household, please give Big Brothers and Big Sisters a call. It really is one of the great community programs in Sacramento. You can call them at 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to get all the information on that. All right, let's take a look at the injury report for tonight. It's brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm, providing you justice since 1975. If you're in an injury, call the Arnold Law Firm, 916-777-7777. For the Kings, we know Monk and Herter are out. They had Keegan Murray listed as questionable for the second straight game. We know that Keegan will play, has a sore calf. Interesting that they put him on the questionable report on that injury list. As for the Pelicans in this game tonight, Brandon Ingram continues to be out. He is out in shooting, but he has been listed out for the game tonight. He could return either tomorrow or for their finale against the Lakers. Najee Marshall is also out tonight for the Pels. That's your injury report for tonight. All right, High Flyer, we know how important this game is. Obviously, the Kings need a win desperately to keep their playoff hopes alive, to try and keep out of a play-in. We know what the records are, 4-0 right now. New Orleans has just absolutely dominated this series. The Kings are going to have to find some magic tonight they haven't been able to find so far this year.
Yeah, they're going to have to find some home cooking somewhere because the Kings really, really need these games. I mean, Scott, we've been saying this for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks, but I'm telling you, the reallys are getting bigger and bolder as we get to the end, and this one tonight can't get any louder.
No, it's huge. Looking at the Western Conference standings, last night Denver beat Minnesota, so the Nuggets are atop the Western Conference right now, 56-24. The T-Wolves and Thunder are locked up at 55-25. We'll see how that shakes out. So most likely Denver's going to be your number one seed. T-Wolves and Thunder will be 2 or 3. Clippers and Mavericks, they're locked into the 4 or 5 seeds. Mavs could still catch the Clips, but they will match up in a first-round matchup. So things are starting to get a little bit more clear at the top half of the top 10, but certainly the bottom 5, everything's still up for grabs. The Pels are 47-32. The Suns, who come here tomorrow night, 47-33 after winning against the Clippers last night. Clippers did us no favors, by the way. They played nobody last night, and the Suns able to get by them with a fourth quarter push. You've got the Kings at 45-34, the Lakers at 45-35, and the Warriors 44-35. The Kings could go from anywhere from 6 to 10 still.
I mean, still very just topsy-turvy, not knowing what's going on, but still have to play your best brand of basketball to the end.
You do. You've got to find a way to get this done. Obviously, it's not just tonight, but it's tomorrow night against a Phoenix team. And how ironic is it that the two opponents you have to play 5 games against because of the in-season tournament are the two teams who are just lurking right above you right now in the standings.
Right, the two teams that you have to beat to make it to that next level. No, I'm with you on that, Scott.
All right, Mike Brown in his press conference today talked a lot about the Kings needing to get out in transition. That's something you talk about a lot as well, Henry.
Because I honestly think that that's the best brand of basketball you see the Sacramento Kings play, is when they are able to get stops, get deflections, get rebounds, and get out into transition. We see the best of the Sacramento Kings. Now, when the Kings have to elect to go to that half-court offense, I think that's when everything gets stagnant and you start to see a couple of Sacramento Kings just standing around watching the ball.
All right, you heard Todd Graffinini, the voice of the Pels, say that Zion's playing his best basketball in his career right now. You got Valanciunas inside. You've got the 1-2 combination. Defensively, what are the Kings going to do tonight?
Not let Zion get to that left hand. You know that's exactly where he wants to go. That's exactly where he's spinning to. And once he gets into the paint, you know he's elevating. So knowing those 3 things, you're going to have to be able to defend him a little bit better. And understand, there's no BI out there. There's no mid-range killer on the floor. So you should be able to have a good idea where Zion is at all times.
Let's hope so. And again, the combination of Williamson and Valanciunas just so tough. Is this a game we see more of Alex Len tonight?
You know what? You might. It depends. It really depends upon how the Kings want to play, because if you think about what Mike Brown just said, he wants to push the ball. He wants to get out of transition. That doesn't elect that Alex Len is going to be in a basketball game. That pushes more so Trey being at the 4 and Sabonis being at the 5, and you might even see Trey at the 5 a little bit so they can get up and down and run that basketball.
It's all hands on deck tonight. It's got a playoff feel. You can feel the extra buzz, a little extra intensity. We know it's the final week of the regular season and everything coming down to it. Henry, it's always great to work with you. Have a great call tonight.
Yes, sir.
G-Man is here. It means it's time for us to get out of the way. Kings Live pregame's coming your way next. Jason Ross will be here with the High Flyer. G-Man will join. He just spoke to Doug Christie. We'll hear that conversation. And, of course, the G-Man will have the call tonight. 7 o'clock tip. Keep it tuned here all evening long. We've got you covered. Sacramento Kings basketball trying to get that first win against the Pels, and we all know Sacramento desperately needs it. You'll hear it right here. Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hobla, the Hobla Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what is happening for Dodge's last call sales event?
We're celebrating 75 years in business by offering 75 new Dodge Chargers and Challengers at enormous discounted prices to say thank you. Right now, get your hands on the last of the gas-powered 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger GTs and SXTs and save up to $13,000 off MSRP. But you better hurry in because you only have until April 13th.
How about the Scat Packs? Any deals on those?
Yep, we've got some